Everybody give it up for RillyRil. Yeah. Get yourself comfortable. How we doing?
What's up?
What's up? Welcome to Seaux Live. Thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me.
I appreciate it. We all appreciate it. So we're just gonna go through a few things, talk. We're gonna catch a vibe, and let's get started. So in my research, it's been about a month since you dropped your latest project, right?
Mm-hmm.
Doing Emotion. Congrats on that.
Thanks.
Very solid project. I really like After the Storm. That's probably my favorite track.
Mm-hmm.
But I am happy about the track that you just performed for us, which is very dope.
Yeah.
Yeah? I like that. Can you speak on the inspiration of this album and maybe a little bit of the creative process?
Yeah, so when I was making the project, I made it between like 2020 until maybe like I started stuff like at the end of 2019, but really was recording like 2020 until like the end of last year. And I was really just going through a lot of stuff. I mean, we had COVID, we had like tons of stuff that was happening like in like social justice issues and just tons of stuff, and just being locked in the crib was really crazy to me because I was like, people that I love were dying, and then I was like, damn, I could die, and like, we forget about that time period. That time period
I think we do.
crazy. Like,
we do.
It's like a foggy, and then I was like just writing stuff about what I was feeling with that, just feeling disconnected, and then I was going through stuff with friends, going through stuff with like business relationships, romantic relationships, and I was just like, yo, like, I just felt really disconnected, and I felt like there was a lot of things I was avoiding on, like, processing and feeling, and the project was basically just learning how to, like, create emotional, mental, and physical, and, like, spiritual maturity, like, in every single way, like, from 19 to, like, 24. So that's basically what the project was about. So I went through, like, kind of every feeling, every emotion of, like, you know, how I was feeling and, like, different themes in my life from, like, the past few years.
Do you think that stagnant time, like around COVID and all that stuff, do you look at it as like an opportunity to kind of express yourself?
Yeah, definitely. I used it wisely, and I just taught myself how to produce, mix my stuff. I learned a lot of stuff around that time, and I think emotionally I definitely was just, like, locked in, reading a lot of books, learning about a lot of stuff spiritually, and educating myself on stuff. And I also was in therapy like every day, not every day, like every other day. So it was really healing. That time period was actually really healing for me. And making the project, that was a part of the process, and that started the process, and then I kind of just kept it going after we got out of lockdown, and I just kept it running. And I didn't realize I had a project. We just like made each song, and with my boy John Jims and Grant, and we just realized, oh, this is cohesive. Let's throw this together.
That's dope. So I also came across that are you just coming off a tour right now? Did you do a little tour? That's
my
dope.
First tour.
I was gonna ask. Shout out to independent artists. Can we get a little clap for that?
Thank
we
you.
love the independent artists over here. What was it like being on the road?
Yo, I keep thinking about it every day. It was super just affirmative, like just consistently having a show like every 3 days or 4 days or back to back when I was in Cali. That was crazy. And I know that it's still smaller compared to what I want to do, but it was like, I was just super grateful. I felt super grateful, and just meeting people and people coming from the different places and states to see me, and like, it was just crazy. Like, it's an experience that I'll never forget. Like, I'm happy I was able to document it and go on tour with friends as well that are also artists and DJs and stuff. But it was a great experience, man. Like, I literally think about it every day since I got off it. I'm like, let's do it again. Let's run it back. let's be on tour for life. Like,
I'm sure it was very validating. Right?
It really was.
Especially coming off of, you know, everything you just mentioned before.
Yeah, literally. It was like I went through the mud, the dirt, the sewer, came out in the ocean, cleansed myself. Was like, oh, okay, what's next? okay, let's release this project. I held on the project for like 2 years. It was done like 2 years ago.
Really?
And I was like,
What was the
let's
reason?
go out with a bang. Like, let's do a tour. Like,
What was the reason for holding on for it for 2 years?
It was just like stagnancy. Like sometimes I was just talking about this with my friends. Like we have ideas. We have tons of them, and tons of them come to us. And I believe that ideas exist in like this plane, and people can grab them that know that they have the access and the resources or different stuff to be able to actualize the idea. I don't think any idea is 100% ours, and I just think it was just floating in my laptop, in my bro's laptop. And it was an idea that we actualized, but I just was scared to release it because it was really vulnerable. And just a lot of stagnancy in that area. Just was scared to do it. And then I just woke up this year and I was like, let me just do it. Like,
I think 2024, like, people are really going for it. That's what I'm saying.
They really are.
People are really gunning for it.
I was literally just saying this with my friends yesterday.
See?
Yeah.
See how it works?
They're really going for it. This is like the year of like, I think it's like the karmic return, you know, like whatever you've been putting and applying pressure to, it's like this is the year where you get the flowers, or if you like, you know, in every area, the positive, negative, you're just getting the karma from that. So.
All right, so I want to go back to what I believe was one of your first releases. Was it Keeping It Real?
Yeah, it was my first EP.
That was your first EP, right? So there's a pressure of introducing yourself to the world. And then there's a pressure to deliver a second time, right? Yeah. They say you have your whole life to create your first project, and then the second one is quote-unquote make or break. I really don't believe that, because I think we're all a work in progress. But you mentioned in a previous interview that the project showed you that you were capable of completing something. I'm curious to see what this latest project has shown you.
Wow, that's a good question.
Take your time.
I think this project definitely has been showing me how to have balance and how to just accept that I don't have to be one thing. Like, I can feel all the range of emotions, all the colors of the rainbow. At one time, tomorrow I may feel like shit. The next day I may feel like the GOAT. The next day I may feel like, Next day I might feel not appreciated. You know, like this project definitely showed me like how to balance everything and how to just accept any emotion, any feeling, any place that I'm at, whether we're in the environment or how I'm feeling. Like it taught me how to just exist and just be like, fuck it, like this is what it is, you know.
Nice.
The first project I was definitely like, I need to like do this. I need to like make my name and my stamp in the industry a certain way, and I need to show people I got bars, and I need like, you know what I'm saying? And I was 19, and now it's just like, yeah, this is just, it's more fluid and it's more just like
natural.
Where I was at, yeah.
Nice. All right, so we had a artist previously on the forum. Shout out to Scrizzly Adams, and we had a conversation. We were talking about the absence of like rock in the mainstream, right? And would you consider yourself an alternative artist?
Yeah, I feel like that's the best thing the best word for it, because it's just like a mix of tons of different genres, and I've had a lot of different genres influence me, and I love alternative, what's usually named as alternative music. I love alternative music. Right.
So the black alternative scene is like booming as of late. I don't know if you're aware. I'm sure you are. It's really gaining traction from the average listeners. What do you think is spearheading that? Like, what do you think?
I think it's a soul thing. I think like people that usually do the stuff that's not so like trendy or repetitive or like in a pocket or in a lane, they're usually getting named like urban or alternative. And I think it's just like it's like they're making music that they're just called to make, or it's like experimental, and they're just feeling things out. They're just doing stuff. They're putting things in a pocket that is not normally supposed to or gonna go there. And so I think why it's getting like more mainstream, because it's not super mainstream yet, but it's getting more mainstream and more of a spotlight is being put on alternative music. I think it's because like people just want that. I feel like they want the authenticity. They want the weird shit. I think we all have that weird vibe. like we got that playlist. It's like, oh, don't show the bros. I'll be listening to that.
Right.
You know, like everyone low key got that, but it's like I think it's just like there's no more fronting in the industry, and if there is, it's really weird to like.
And it's easy to identify too.
It's
like,
just so, and I think platforms like TikTok have made it. Like TikTok and like Instagram, I think we see more stuff than we used to see now and stuff. So it's like I think we're just like realizing all the dishing out of like the difference of like mainstream and repetition and then alternative or like experimental or urban, whatever they're calling it. It's like that's more connected to the individual and the soul of the individual and what they're producing out of that. And I feel people connect to it.
Yeah, I agree. You know what I think kind of started it? The SoundCloud era.
Yeah.
And when we speak of the SoundCloud era, we usually talk about it disparagingly a little bit. But like, I think what we're seeing now is a result of that, because I think the SoundCloud era kind of let artists experiment and kind of do whatever they wanted to do. And I think that fights against like the algorithm that we take in all the time. So, you know, the repetitive stuff that you just mentioned. Being an artist that isn't afraid to experiment yourself, how do you approach making a song?
Yeah, I usually like to start with the beat or like the instrumental. Sometimes like my friends, I usually work with like friends all the time, but sometimes they'll have stuff for me and they'll just show me something, and it's usually something that's in the back of their vault that they haven't like made in like years, and they're just never they forgot about it or they didn't know what to do with it, and then that's like the one that they usually get me, like the weird beats. Or we make stuff together in person. We start with that. Homies will come with like instruments. I love to like have somebody on the synth. I feel like synth is needed all the time. Or pads are needed all the time, in my opinion. And then we go from there. I feel like the frequencies and the way it feels and how we feel and what we were talking about prior to making it, just like regular conversations will just inspire what I want to talk about. And then I get the lyrics after that, like get a melody going, start humming, and then get the lyrics for the hums. The hums turn into lyrics, and then I repeat it. I'm like, copy it. I write it on my phone. I write it on the book.
You mentioned something. I don't think people talk about the conversations in the studio. A lot of times we just focus on the actual process. Yeah. But sometimes you can go into a studio session and just talk for a couple hours, not record nothing, but it was just as productive, maybe, or you know, moving you forward into the direction that you want to go, right?
Yeah. Cause like I feel like there's always a result we want that we need to make us feel like, you know, like it's like for gratification. It's like you want to leave the stew with a product.
Yeah.
And I'll get mad. I'm not even just saying this to sound woke, bro. Like I be getting mad. Like I get so mad when I leave the studio, and even if I laid something down, if it's not how it sounded in my head, I'm just like, damn, like. Like I just get so mad, but sometimes it's like what you said is true. Like sometimes we needed just the community or just to be around other artists and talk about certain things and certain topics. Because every time I'm in the studio, we're talking about like real life stuff or stuff that we see and we feel or want to feel. So it's like those are important too, and they definitely influence the tracks.
Right.
100%.
Okay.
Definitely, I feel like.
So moving along, tell me about childhood. Born and raised in Bushwick, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what was Bushwick for you? What did that do for you as an artist?
So much. Like the Bushwick we know now is different, but when I was growing up, it was like a lot of Black, Hispanic in the community. Like it was like Dominicans, Puerto Ricans, Mexicans, Ecuadorians, and like a lot of just like the pot of like Black people, and it was just like. The food, number one. I have amazing, impeccable spots. And I really am a chef like
You're going to have to share some of those off camera.
I have to have a cooking show one day or something. But that, and then also just like, it was like always loud. Like I grew up right by the train. and like it's just always loud. It got to the point where like sometimes when my friends are over, they don't even know that they hear the train above. I don't even know that I hear the train above, and they're like, yo, like, you sleep with this? Like, this is like normal to you? It's just always loud. There's always music being played. Somebody got like subwoofers in their car, 4 a.m, just booming it. So I feel like I've just learned how to just be around every type of person, different types of vibes and styles and where they come from. And I'm okay with like being loud and expressive. Even when I'm quiet. And that kind of goes into like my fashion style. That's definitely is inspired by Bushwick 100%.
Okay. To my knowledge, you dive into a lot of different forms of art. Scripting, modeling, acting. You even creative directing. You put an art show together before. Yeah, and that's really dope. Isn't it interesting that in the search to kind of find yourself, you're forced to try on like so many different things?
Yeah, but that's the best part. That's the best part. And then that ties into my mom, because my mom put me in everything. She put me in everything. Like growing up, anything that I said I liked or I wanted to do or learn, she like, I was like, all right, we're going to get you in a class for that. Or like, we'll find a program for that. Even if they were free programs, my mom would find everything and make sure like I had the experience to like try everything out. So like now that I'm an adult, it's like, I like move like that. Like if I want to learn something, I'm gonna like before like I get someone else to do it, I want to learn it while they're doing it for me. I want to learn too, or have them teach me, or like take a class on it, because I feel like it's just that's a life thing for me, you know. But then it ties into like also being an artist, and like I didn't have the team yet, or like people to pay to be on my team yet. I just had friends, and then they all had different strengths, and we just all taught each other things. We're still teaching each other things.
Yeah, I think being naturally curious is like the biggest tool for an artist, right? Because you end up I think that leads to being super resourceful. And I also read somewhere that you shot a video on your phone.
Yes, I did. My first music video was shot on my iPhone.
It's funny, you can get stuff done.
Thank you. Yeah, people didn't even know that. Like, people did not even know I shot that on my iPhone. I showed that to a lot of people and mentors that I really respect in the industry. And they were like, yo, you shot this on your phone? Like, I was like,
that's cool.
Yep.
So I usually have a question that I ask artists, and it's, what's your first early music memory? But I came across one of yours.
What?
Yes. So you used to put together performances in the living room?
Yes, I did. Nah, you see, you on your Nardwuar shit.
Yeah, I'm on my Nardwuar shit. So the real question, since we already know that, the real question is Disney or Nickelodeon gang? Which one? This is the most important.
Hard.
This is the most important question I'm gonna ask today.
Where you
going?
That's crazy. Nah.
Can't
My
yet.
favorite show in the world was SpongeBob.
SpongeBob?
So I
think it's Nickelodeon for the win.
Nickelodeon. But fuck Dan Schneider.
Yeah.
But
I didn't think about that aspect before I had that question.
SpongeBob for real.
Word.
I love SpongeBob. Like, I had to say SpongeBob.
Nickelodeon gang. Throw your gang sign up. I don't know what it would be.
Nah, big SpongeBob gang. We're not
big
jacking.
SpongeBob.
We're not jacking.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. So, I think it's interesting that creativity usually starts from imitation. And as a creative, it requires like a certain boldness to take that next step to start making your own original work. What was the initial spark for you that ignited you to create your own? Or was it a person that inspired you to tell your story?
I think it was life, just observing everybody. Like, I remember being a kid and just observing everybody. Like, the reason why I would put on those shows, I literally remember, like, putting on these little talent shows for my family was because I just wanted them to laugh, smile, be happy. I would see it on the TV, the Grammys and all this stuff, and be like, yo, it's crazy, Michael Jackson, music videos, be like, yo, like, I want to do that. Just like observing things and seeing how much color there is in life. And I was like, yeah, I wanna make my place, make my stamp, and figure that out somehow what it's gonna be. But I think life, everything, every single thing has inspired me, like, honestly, to like
Okay.
Keep existing, keep pushing things out, keep flourishing, smiling, laughing, creating, like literally everything, every day, something keeps me going and create and being a creator.
Okay. So you really hang your hat on authenticity. Your name, really real, makes sense. But I do think it really speaks to your music, and it takes a level of confidence to just genuinely be you. But like many other traits people have, I think confidence is a muscle that you kind of have to train. Was there any time in your life where it was hard being yourself?
All the time. Still.
Constant struggle.
Still, yeah. Yeah, like it's like confidence is like it is something you're training yourself to do. And there's a lot of self-love in there, and it's a choice. I'm learning that confidence is literally a choice. It's not like it's a choice that becomes like a way of being, you know? And like growing up, it was, I've definitely had mad times where I definitely just felt dark and alone, and like I didn't really see what I really wanted to see I didn't see such examples that I could really reflect in and feel like closely like, okay, this is like something that is reflecting how I can see myself in a way. When it comes to like value and like, confidence, because a lot of people around me, a lot of us, the whole world has so many insecurities, and we have so many things about ourselves that we're projecting to make it even look like we're confident, but we're not even confident. We're just cocky, or we just need to look that way so it looks like we're getting certain things and we have a certain lifestyle. So yeah, every day I'm just working through it, dishing out what isn't even confidence and what isn't really self-love. And it's like every day checking in with myself and choosing like a certain lane and creating that lane for myself. But then a lot of people will look at me and see it as, yo, you're so confident. Yo, what do you do to like, how are you doing this? How are you living your life? How do you do tour? Like, how do you go on stage and say the stuff you say? I'm like, I don't know. Like, I just chose to do it.
Yeah,
but like, that shit was scary. It's still scary. Like, I probably cried when I left the stage, or I'm anxious, like, it's like.
Do you have nerves, like, before you get on stage?
Yeah. I'm nervous right now. Like, right now I'm like, bro, what are you saying?
Well, I mean, so many lights on you.
It happens, like, all the time, like, 24/7, but it's still a choice. And people have their perception, and we see ourselves a certain way that we see other people doing their thing, and we're like, damn, they're really confident. Damn, like, I'm trying to get like you, my bro. Like, nah, they're trying to get like you. Like,
Right. Have you ever gotten praise for something that you feel didn't represent you? Like, have you ever created something that, you put out and then you got positive feedback, but you didn't really connect to something that you created? This is kind of like a personal question for me.
Yeah, that happens.
That happens?
I think, like my first EP, like, I feel like I outgrew that whole era. So, like, I don't even like to play it on shows or, like, hear it anymore. And then, like, some friends will bring up, like, some songs, or people, strangers will bring up stuff. And I'm like, really? Oh, my God. And behind my face, I'm like... Like, that shit was ass. Like,
isn't it funny? Like seeing, it's kind of like the memories that get posted. I don't know if you're on Facebook, but every now and then, like, it'll be a memory from like 7 years ago and be something you posted, and it'll pop up and be like, this memory you posted days, and whenever that comes up for me, I'm like embarrassed.
Yeah, exactly. That's how it feels. Like, that's how it feels. And there's like another song or two that's out that I'm like, yeah, we gotta take that down. Like, that shouldn't be here. Like, that's messing with the feng shui. Like,
right. So I read a quote from you somewhere, and it said, "A place deserving of you won't require you to assimilate to be accepted." And I found that.
I said that?
Yeah, you said that. You said that.
What I said, bro.
You want me to say it again?
Bro, please repeat that. It's all like
I got you. A place deserving of you won't require you to assimilate or be accepted. And I found that to be a very potent statement. So my question to you is, now that we're here, would you say the place that you're at right now is a testimony of that statement?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm surrounded by like people who really believe in me and really shout me out, and I do the same. And I have a really dope collective of friends and artists and creators called Janfu, and I was just with them yesterday. We had a meeting. I'm just like mad grateful. Like, yo, like I feel like if you look out and you see who you're around. If you look around and you see certain things, it's reflecting you or something that you need to learn. And I feel like I was just literally thinking about that today. Like, I'm really grateful for what I'm around, who I am right now, and like I just know that what's happening next is gonna be crazy. Because if I'm around this, or we're around this together, and we're seeing the things we're seeing, and feeling this, and the synchronicities of things and the way it happens, I just feel like I'm in the right place, right time, and I'm reflecting that. So I look back at myself like,
pat yourself on the back. You did a good job.
thank you.
All right.
And you too. Wait, can you repeat it? I said if you.
It says a place deserving of you won't require you to assimilate to be accepted.
Yeah, exactly. It's a fact.
Yeah. All right, so we're winding down, and what I do want to know is who is your dream collab, and who is your dream producer to work with?
Easy. Kid Cudi, Mike Dean.
Man, those aren't bad choices.
Or Pharrell.
I love Pharrell.
Pharrell producing for me would be crazy.
Let's put it out in the universe.
We just did.
Yeah, let's bring it back. I want to say thank you very much.
Thank you.
For blessing us with your presence.
Thank you.
And we hope to see you soon, and we are looking forward to see what you got planned for it in the future. Anybody you want to shout out?
Shout out Janfu. For real, we're taking over. Shout out Ian Wex, who did the song Y'all With Me.
Okay.
Shout out God did. God. And my mom and my dad. And shout out you. Thank you for tuning in. And shout out So Live.
Clap it up. Really real. Thank you so much.